guys, hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So yesterday, as we were finishing up, having fun for Mother's Day, because hubby always makes sure to do something for me for Mother's Day, and my birthday as well. I was browsing as we were taking a break, eating snacks. I started scrolling, and one of the first videos that popped up was a mom that was crying pretty much and saying that Mother's Day was just another day. What's the big deal? And as I was swiping that, the more one thing you watch one thing and then more stuff pop up. Other videos kept popping up, moms who were like, Mother's Day just needs to be done with, like they're over it and all this stuff, because they find themselves doing the same things on Mother's Day and they're not getting, for example, a break. Like they're still cooking, they're still cleaning, they're still taking care of kids and stuff like that. And so it read me down the rabbit hole of all these moms that were just really like, what is the point of Mother's Day? And so first of all, I want to wish all the moms out there happy Mother's Day. If anything, for me, it just reminds me that, hey, I have this kid, I have this person that I'm taking care of, that I'm blessed with. It's just a reminder. Not that it's not a reminder every day, but Mother's Day just reminds me that, wow, thank you, like God, for this amazing person and stuff like that, that I'm a mom. Because I know there's other people in the world that didn't get that chance, So for me, that's one of the things about Mother's Day. So as I was watching these videos, all these women that were crying, women that were complaining, women that were just really, really frustrated about Mother's Day, I started feeling really sad, because I'm like, wow, this is really unfortunate. So a lot of these moms were single moms, and also moms that felt like they had partners that were just not really participating to really be fully involved and to even remember Mother's Day, to do things for them on Mother's Day so that they would have less on their plate. So they felt like Mother's Day should have been some day that something's different, meaning that maybe the partners were participating more, maybe they got gifts, maybe they got taken out to eat, maybe they got flowers and cards and stuff like that. So I really had to take a moment to be thankful to myself, and I even took time, at the end of the day, to tell my husband, thank you for everything that he does for me, because he's never forgotten a birthday or a Mother's Day, and I really appreciate it. Because when I was looking at that, I felt really sad for other moms who feel like they were not even acknowledged, they were not given, hey, happy Mother's Day. And in general, some of their partners just forgot. So I was really thankful to my husband for everything. So a lot of the moms, were just complaining, and they were saying that, this whole thing is made to be a big deal. And I want to say one of the things that I learned in the US is that a lot of stuff is made a big deal. Valentine's Day, Christmas, and all this stuff. Now, I'm not saying that for some people it's not a big deal, but I feel like everything is just overhyped because it's a marketing thing, and people, they want you to go shopping, especially Mother's Day. The moms were out in the malls. A lot of moms were at the mall shopping. So they try to push a lot of marketing towards you so you can go out there and buy something, because that's what it's all about, making money, especially here in the US. So I feel like everything is really blown up. For example, one of the first, when we first moved to Kenya from East Africa a couple of years ago, the first graduation we went to, I think it was my oldest brother. We went there, and I think we went pretty much empty-handed. Like, we were just there to be showed up at the time that we were told and all that. As we were getting in, the stuff that we saw were horns. People had all the flower things on their necks. People had especially monogrammed, gowns, and it was flowers everywhere. It was so many different things that families were carrying. And we looked at ourselves and said, oh, did we not get the memo? Like, we were supposed to bring all this stuff. We were supposed to do all this stuff. And then after that, me and my family, like, we totally changed everything, and we started having everything that we needed ready. Sometimes we would even buy stuff early and keep it on the side so that when we go to this event, we had everything. Because that's how I feel like a lot of the holidays here are so overhyped that when people don't get whatever it is that is overhyped, they feel like they're lacking something. So for example, if Mother's Day is all about flowers, and here you are and you didn't get flowers from anyone, you start feeling some kind of way. So you start asking yourself, is something wrong with you? How come you didn't get a card? How come you didn't get a partner that said Happy Mother's Day to you? When you go to the stores, people are constantly saying Happy Mother's Day to you. Sometimes they don't even know if you don't have a kid or not. But they're like, Happy Mother's Day, I hope you're enjoying if you have kids and all this. And you're thinking to yourself, maybe you're just going back home to go lay in your bed in your pajamas, and you're like, what is the big deal? So I feel like that's one of the biggest things that's causing this issue, where people feel left out. And so it just was really sad to watch that, because I started thinking like, wow, why would a partner forget to let a mom know, especially if it's a good mom that's taking care of the kids, like, hey, happy Mother's Day. And some partners were talking about, they just got a text that was half nothing, pretty much. Somebody said like, oh, their partner said, oh, thank you for holding it down. And she was like, what the F is that supposed to be? So for me, it's hard to kind of relate to some of the stuff because I have a partner that's very supportive, partner that's been never forgets to just celebrate me on Mother's Day or, you know, birthdays and stuff like that. So it was really hard for me to kind of relate to that, but I also kind of understand where a single mom would be coming from. So a single mom, you know, you are so used to doing stuff for yourself. And so you're just thinking like, man, maybe if you're dating someone, like they would think of you, which some partners did. I'm not saying that all partners did not do their part for that. But a lot of the moms that were talking, they were like, you know, and then another one that really kind of gave me like, really kind of made me even more sad was moms that mentioned their kids not even telling them anything on Mother's Day. They didn't say, they didn't bring flowers, they didn't bring a card or anything like that. A lot of moms were like, their kids are old enough. Like, why are they not even taking the time to say Happy Mother's Day or to bring a card? And I just thought that maybe there's other deep issues that are going on there because, you know, there's people that have issues with their own kids and they have a relationship that's not the best. So I can't really say that I understand that one, but I know that sometimes, you know, some kids, you know, are just like that. They don't really understand this whole thing, but also they also look at examples. So maybe they didn't see that around them, like where the dad was telling the mom Happy Mother's Day and all that stuff. They just didn't think it was important. You know, sometimes, you know, saying please and thank yous, for example, are not even something that a lot of kids do. You have to train them to be those kind, you know. So that's another issue that I can't get into. But that was a little bit really like kind of sad to me that, you know, even the kids, some of the kids barely notice their moms and tell them Happy Mother's Day, you know. And so like my son gave me a little thing that he made at school and he was like, oh mom, I'm going to get you something, you know. And I was like, no, I don't need anything. You know, I just give him a hug. I'm like, I don't need anything, you know. So it just really, I just went through a rabbit hole, and after I was done, I was just like feeling really down. And I said, wow, this is really unfortunate that people feel this way. But it's also the same thing with Valentine's Day. I remember Valentine's Day, like I think my husband and I just went out to eat. And a lot of people were like, well, I didn't get the big balloons and the chocolate. And all I got was like, you know, a gift card or something like that. And I was like, well, that's something, you know, because at least somebody remembered that. Because a lot of men that they were dealing with forgot completely about Valentine's Day. So when you're going around and seeing all these people carrying bears, they're going out, they're all dressed up, everybody's like, you know, with their partners flirting and doing all this stuff, then you start feeling like, oh my gosh, I didn't do any of that. So I feel like sometimes it's just where you are that makes everything such a big deal. And a lot of moms, you know, were in the comments just telling other women, like, at the end of the day, go do something for yourself. If you have a break, then go buy something for yourself. Go to a spa. Go do your nails for Mother's Day. If you're able to get a break, just get a break from the kids, you know, which is impossible. Even me, after we were done, you know, we had to head home because school was today. And I had to go get getting school clothes ready. I had to make sure we had food to eat that night and stuff like that. So I didn't fully get like a full breaks. And also we were with our kid, you know, so because the grandma was busy with something else. So we ended up spending Mother's Day. We usually do spend Mother's Day with our son. And it's okay for us because that's something we've just been doing. You know, it's hard because sometimes, you know, I remember eating and I would just carry him and feed him as I'm trying to celebrate and have my little drink. I would be like playing mom, and it became really overwhelming. And sometimes I wish I got a break. But it wasn't reality because we didn't have any extra daycare or whatever people's situation. And I also felt comfortable doing that, you know. So sometimes, you know, you have to kind of do you and do what works for you because you can't be caught up in the way things are done with other people all over in you know, when you see it around you, because a lot of stuff is just marketed. Like, oh, you know, Starbucks is already having the Mother's Day cup. So you have to get a Mother's Day cup. And if you don't, and people are starting feeling some kind of way. So it becomes this material thing where people are so caught up in the material of getting stuff instead of just realizing that this day is just a day to celebrate that, hey, you are a mom and you have healthy kids and they're the best and all that stuff. So for me, that's really what I wanted to say, that at the end of the day, even if you are not celebrated and nobody acknowledges you, you don't get gifts and all that stuff, you just be grateful that, hey, you got these amazing kids and you're blessed because some people are not able to have them. And it's just a reminder that, hey, it's your day that you brought kids. You brought kids. You have kids, you know? So you just do that and just maybe you can take the kids with you and just go do something for yourselves, you know? If it becomes this thing where you feel like the partners that are around you are not really acknowledging or doing anything for you. So yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to say that while I can't say that I understand it completely what those moms were going through, I just kind of wanted to talk about it and say, hey, you know, I read stuff and I heard it, you know, in some ways. And, Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.